Wow, we're actually doing first attack and level 3 focus today. This is...
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, sort of, I guess. This is only episode 7, and we're almost halfway into this year.
Yeah.
So
we've had a lot of special episodes here and there.
It's
you know,
true, we have.
Yeah,
here and there.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be both shows today. What we're going to do is what we normally try to do when a game is newly released. We introduce the game's mechanics, kind of the basics of it, and then we go through the characters. Usually, this is a game that we don't know very well, or even when we have known it, we tend to invite guests on to talk about it, just in case.
Who know it really well,
exactly.
You know, because there's always a lot of very hardcore experts on these games out there.
Absolutely. So. But this is a game that we both know really well. It's Street Fighter 4. Now, I understand that a lot of people play Street Fighter 4, but not everybody does. And especially once we put this up on YouTube later, I'm hoping that it'll reach more people. But, I don't know a lot of people who haven't been playing Street Fighter 4. Maybe they did when Vanilla was out, but they haven't been playing it. They've been playing other games. So I just think it would be useful to kind of reintroduce this game, talk about the differences between this game and the previous versions, and go through the characters.
Yeah, exactly. Just like we do with all the games, just because it's Street Fighter doesn't mean we should ignore trying to teach it to new people.
Yeah, so. I don't want to assume everybody plays Street Fighter 4. I think that's a bad assumption.
And actually, there's a lot of people who play the other games who said, I'll pick up Ultra when it comes out.
Exactly.
So, I mean, we've seen a lot of the Injustice players trying to pick this game up and stuff like that. So, might as well try to start that. So.
I think so, too.
Okay,
so
cool.
It's going to be kind of the general plan, right? Basics during first attack, then characters during level 3 focus.
Yep.
Okay?
Okay.
All
cool.
right.
So before I switch over the game,
okay,
my friend came over last weekend and decided to decorate our lovely abode here with his
my god
championship king.
Can we start doing this from my house? That
sucks. Because he knows, so he knows how you feel about the king.
All right, we're gonna have to start doing this from my place so we can get my duck spanner. Duck 07.
Yeah, I know. All right, so let's switch over to game and cam here. Okay, there we go. Do you want to just do only game, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, let's just do game.
Okay.
We're not too important right now.
Okay, there you go.
Nothing too interesting happening.
Okay. Boom, here we are. So.
Well, as far as super basics go, we tend to we talk about movement. I mean, we talk about everything. So let's get into that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously this game, the nice thing about Street Fighter 4, it is definitely way more basic than most fighting games. Not a lot of craziness when it comes to air dashes or any of those kind of things like that, right? So in this game, it's literally just walk, crouching, jumping in 3 different directions, and the really only, extra movement is the dashes, which is forward dash and back dash by double tapping in either direction. Whichever direction you want to go, you double tap in that direction. In general, back dashes have invincibility on start. And in fact, I mean, that is just a fact. Every character has invincibility at most of them 8 frames. Some of them, like, what's going on here?
There's tearing going on.
There's screen tearing.
Actually,
I see it.
It's pretty funky looking, man.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's gotta be because I have it on 1080i. Let me change it to.
Yeah, sure.
Let me change it to 720p for a second, really quick.
Sure.
Which requires me to.
Oh, the actual game you have on.
Yeah. So I have this whole thing. My Xbox is outputting to 1080i right now, so I'll set it to 1080p to 720p. I didn't know it would do that at 1080i. Actually, that's really interesting.
I guess we haven't actually been.
We've been doing 720p this whole time.
Right.
And just recently I switched it to 1080i because I attached it to my actual TV.
Okay.
And then I was like, you know what, I'll just stream at this resolution, and I guess that doesn't work, so.
Okay.
Fortunately, I actually knew what was wrong.
Yeah, I know.
Oops, hang on a second. Let me go back to the game. We're not going to... Oops, did it... Oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't hit OK. So let me do something, deck link, configure, video input, 720p, apply, go.
Oh, look at you.
There we go. And that should be it. There it is. Okay, so now we can go back to the game.
Yeah, let us know if that looks alright, folks.
Yeah. So a lot of people saying the screen tearing, this should be a lot better.
Yeah, for the menu, it still says Super Street Fighter 4, just because it's the digital download thing.
Yeah, they said on the disc it's actually going to say Ultra from the get-go, so...
Yeah.
Okay.
I did not get a haircut, even though there was free haircuts for staff at MLG.
What?
I had so many hairs to cut, it would have taken so long that they didn't have time. Seriously.
Wow.
So I almost had free haircut. I was really excited because I've been putting it off for months.
And
But it didn't work out.
You didn't take
I tried
advantage of
to.
it, huh? Oh, okay.
They were actually, they were really cool. They were kind of apologetic that they didn't have time.
Oh,
they were
wow.
very nice.
Okay. Got
Best part of MLG.
But you also got all the makeups and stuff like that, so... Yeah, actually, do you still think Hugo's low tier? You actually rated him pretty low in your pre-tier
I did.
ranking
That was kind of a state of the current game, and not necessarily where I expect characters to end up.
Right.
I would think that Hugo would go higher, but we'll see.
Right. Okay. Cool. All right. So again, let's start from the beginning here. Walking forward and backwards, very standard. Crouching, and of course you can jump in all three directions depending on which of the three up directions you hit. And the most complex form of movement in this game that is universal is the forward dash, which you tap twice on the controller very quickly, or tap back on the controller very quickly. And in general, I mean, forward dash is used mostly just to gain position and to, mount offense, be aggressive kind of thing. A lot of times maybe just for setup, positioning, timing, but for the most part it's just to get forward as fast as possible. And then backdash, the nice thing about backdash is every character has at least 6 frames of invincibility. In fact, everybody has 8 except for like 3 characters, I believe. And so for the most part, you'll have 8 frames of invincibility when you backdash. So that's what, and you can do it when you get up off the floor and stuff like that. So if you know the enemy is going to hit you, you can try to escape that.
Yep.
So actually, one of the major things that is a high-level concept that I don't think a lot of people have gotten good at is learning how to punish backdashes. That's actually a really, really important factor, which I'm still really bad at. Like I don't use a lot of the option selects that a lot of people do to punish backdashes. So.
Right.
Okay. So those are the main things, and then of course you have 6 attack buttons, which is
jab.
Light punch.
AKA
medium,
jab.
Yeah, medium punch, AKA strong. Hard punch, AKA fierce. And we're going to call them both ways all day because we're just used to it.
That's why I want to make sure that we get both in there.
Right. So light kick, AKA short. Medium kick, AKA forward. I can't believe you kicked me.
That's huge.
And then hard kick, which is roundhouse. So basically, you have 2 weak attack buttons, which is light kick and light punch. You have medium attacks, medium punch, medium kick, and hard attacks, which are fierce and roundhouse, hard punch and hard kick. Very kind of important to know these different tiers of buttons.
Also sometimes called heavy. Hard, aka heavy. Some people say that.
Yeah, you're right. No, that's true. It's true.
And of course, you have the same options in the air.
Yep.
You have access to all of your buttons. For lots of characters, jumping toward attacks are different than jumping neutral jump. Like, for example, Ryu, there's jump roundhouse neutral. But if you jump toward or back, it looks different.
Right, so there's like a diagonal jump and the neutral jump.
Yeah.
Most characters have a different set between those two, but there's a few characters that don't, and some characters that have only some differences, like Yin and Yang and Gen.
Right, and some characters can do things in the air like that are different attacks. That is to say, Hugo, this is jump fierce, aka jump heavy punch, but he can also do down plus heavy punch, which changes it up, as you can see.
Yeah, so on the ground you have the standard 6 buttons, standing and crouching, so you have all the crouching attacks. But then there is, like David was mentioning, this whole concept of unique attacks, which they call this in the game, which is, they're not actual special moves, they're still normals, but they're done by a specific direction on the controller, and then hitting it. So for example, I can hit medium punch with Ryu, but if I hold forward on the controller and then hit medium punch, I do the collarbone breaker, which aka the, I know all the names now because I've been swamped in these names, but this is his overhead here. Same for my towards and heavy punch, I'll do this instead of the standard here, like this. So these are called unique attacks. Ryu doesn't have any in the air, but Hugo does. You saw with the body splash.
Hugo only has one. It's down, down plus medium kick.
Yeah. And then the other thing that's also probably important to note is that most characters have a difference between far away standing and close standing. So if you look here, here's my standing hard punch or heavy punch here with Ryu. But if I walk up close to Hugo and hit punch, you see I do this little uppercut instead.
Right.
And there's this trigger range. Every one of these, every time you have a close move, it just depends on the distance. Like here, it looks like I'm close enough, right? And okay, at that time I was. But here, I'm not close enough to trigger the close move. I'm still doing the far one. But if I just get a little closer, then I can get him that way.
And again, not everybody has that. Hugo, for example, doesn't. This is always this.
Yeah.
These are always the same.
Yeah, no matter.
Just depends on the character.
Yep. Most characters have the close-up, and a few of them do not.
Yeah, by the way, unique attacks are also called command normals.
Oh, yeah, okay. There are some characters, in fact, I think there's 4 or 5 characters that don't have close and far moves. Yeah. They don't have close and far moves. Right. What they actually have are standing moves and towards and the button. So all 6 of them. Makoto, Dudley, Oni, Hakan, and then Dalsum is the unique one that has backs. Right. So those are normal moves right there. The distinction of normal moves is if you block them, you don't take any damage at all whatsoever, and that you pretty much have access to them anytime you want.
Right.
So you can just kind of do this. And honestly, one of the hard things about this game is that once you start learning special moves like Ryu's fireball or his uppercut, when you first start learning these games, this is all you want to do is like, my God, I can throw fireballs. But the truth of the matter is, most people who play Street Fighter are probably going to be using their normals like 80% of the time. No normals, no game. No normals, no game. Yeah. We need to type that out because
I know. If you know your normals, then you know your game. But if you have no normals, then you have no game.
Okay, there you go. Perfect. Okay. So, yeah. So, basically, tiers of moves, which is normals, then uniques, and then there's specials.
Right, so every character has specials. There tend to be just a couple of different varieties. There are charge specials. Like we should have picked a character that has those. And then there are kind of everything else. There's quarter circle back, that is to say down, down, back, plus, punch or plus kick. And then there are what we just kind of generally call dragon punch, even if Ryu has the dragon punch.
Right. This is where it came from.
Exactly.
Right?
But Hugo has the same motion, which is forward, down toward. Comes out with backbreaker, but we call that motion dragon punch kick.
Yeah. That's just the DP motion, basically. Yeah. So once you have these special moves, I mean, the whole trick behind these is that they do chip damage. So if David blocks, for example, you'll see him take a little bit of life damage there. Of course, it's going to go back up because it's training mode, right? But you can basically drain someone's life just by getting them to block special moves, and this is why special moves can be kind of scary. The other thing, too, is that all of your normal moves, every character has a subset of their moves that they can cancel into special moves. So, for example, Ryu can do low forward into fireball. And this is how you kind of use them together, normals and specials. A lot of the times, whenever you do special moves, you're usually canceling into them. Even if you see someone doing something like this, they're probably canceling into a fireball just in case I get into range and I hit him, and then I can end up doing a fireball. So those are special moves there.
We should mention that it's not just called quarter circle this way or that, or dragon punch this way or that. There are a bunch of other ways to refer to those motions. A very popular one is to use the number notation.
The numpad notation, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So somebody says 2, 3, 6. You have to look at the numbers on your keypad.
Yep.
And just look where they are. So 2, 3, 6. 2 is down. 3 is down toward. 6 is toward. That means down toward, or quarter circle forward. Those are all the same things.
Yep. And so a DP, for example, would be 6, 2, 3, because that's forward, down, forward.
Right.
So there you go. So that's the number notation. Depends on which one you get used to, and it also usually depends on the community too.
Right.
For example, the Arxis games heavily use it. Tekken community doesn't use it because they use numbers for their buttons,
Right.
and such like that. In Street Fighter, I've seen it both ways. So.
Right. Me too.
Okay. The next level after special moves are EX special moves. And the way that EX special moves, let me do something really quick just so you can see it go down, is that, for example, a fireball is quarter circle forward plus punch. And you see if David gets hit by this, he just gets hit, boom, like that. If you use 2 punches instead of just 1 punch button, we should probably mention that all the special moves, if you use the different strength buttons, a lot of times different things will happen.
Right.
So, for example, you see Ryu has a low uppercut, a high uppercut, and a super high uppercut. And they all have different properties depending on the move, for example. Like if I'm Ryu and I do roundhouse hurricane, you see how far he goes. If I do the forward one, he doesn't go as far. And if I do the light one, he doesn't go anywhere.
Right. Same with Hugo. You can see the big wind up on the fierce, much faster on jab.
Yeah. Really important on making sure you know how to use all 3 of them at the higher levels, because they all have very different properties. So when it comes to EX moves, like I said, I've got a fireball. If you hit 2 punches, you throw what's called an EX fireball.
Yeah.
So most special moves, there are some that cannot be EX, but most special moves can do this. So if I do an uppercut, for example, he'll flash yellow and do an uppercut. And if I do the hurricane, I do this crazy vacuum hurricane. But you'll notice the one thing is that, look at the bar at the bottom of the screen. Let me change it to max start just so you can see it. So if you see, every time I do an EX move, it burns 1 block of that meter.
Right.
So you cannot do an EX move unless you have at least 1 block. That's your measure right there. So if I do this and get down to nothing and I try to do EX, the regular is just going to come out. So
you can always tell that it's an EX, not just by the meter usage down there at the bottom, but by the fact that the character just turns yellow.
Right. And then another thing too is
Yellow.
that, hang on a second. Another thing too is that, yeah, you can see how it's a different property there. Yeah, the EX fireball knocks him down. So, okay. Then the next level is super combos.
Yeah.
This requires all 4 of your bars. As you can see on the bottom of the screen, it says super. And not every character has only 1 super, but most characters have only 1 super. Right? Some of them have a couple of them or different versions of the same one. But most characters have 1 super combo. And how to do it is just different with every character.
Right.
So, for example, with Ryu, it's quarter circle forward plus punch. So you got to do 2 quarter circle forward motions and then hit punch, and then he throws crazy super fireball. And you see, I lost all my meter there for doing that. So this is Hugo's super, and he just blows you up like this.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's really good. Different supers have different uses and properties. I mean, they're for good damage, but a lot of the times you want to save your meter for EXs. And in fact, I would say in 90% of the matches, you don't see super combos.
Yeah, it's pretty rare, and it tends to be just character specific. Some characters like to use theirs, some characters don't.
Like Hugo's is really good, for example, if I throw a fireball from across the screen, you know, you can pow and...
Right, you get right through it. So, you know, different supers have different usability.
And then on top of that is the Ultra combo. Yeah. One thing to note about EXs and supers is they're still treated like special moves. They fall in the same kind of class. So, for example, I can do low forward into EX fireball.
Right.
And I can do low forward into super, just like I can do regular low forward into fireball.
Right. That is to say, you can cancel your normals into your specials, because those are all specials or supers.
Right.
Ultras are a different story.
So Ryu has an Ultra. So basically, kind of similar to supers, 2 quarter circle forward motions, but all Ultras require 3 button presses. So for Ryu, instead of 2 quarter circle forward plus punch, which does my super, I would do 2 quarter circle forward and 3 punches. Whoops. Which makes me do fancy Ultra. And you can see there, it does a lot of hits there. But the one main thing to note about these is that I cannot cancel into Ultra.
Right.
See, as soon as I tried, it said, you can't cancel into the Ultra, so I'll do the super, because you basically had a super in there, right? So, Oh, you're trying to do standing
So
720?
yeah, again, different characters just have different motions depending on the ultra. Some are these, I have a quarter circle forward ultra as well, which requires that you be in the air.
Right, grabs me out of the air.
Yeah, exactly. And different characters have, a very common one is charge back, then forward, back forward, and whatever button. 720 is also one. Yeah.
Nice.
That is to say, a full 360 on the stick, followed by not necessarily a full 360 on the stick, but that's the idea.
Yeah. Now, normally it's not easy to do 720s while standing in place.
It's just a Hugo thing.
David is showing off here his mad execution skills. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So there you go, and then you can see. And the nice thing about ultras is they generally do a lot of damage. However, they're not doing a lot of damage right now because we have something. We'll explain it in a little bit.
Right. Well, somebody asks, how do you do 360 motions without having the character jump? A lot of characters that have command grabs, that is to say specials that are grabs rather than hits, you can't block, are 360 motion. That is to say back, down, forward, up, along with all the corresponding diagonals in there. But you don't really need to do the full 360. You can just do a 270 instead, and that'll usually work. So back, down, forward, up, instead of going all the way back to back, will still get you the 360. So that's what that is.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is the reason why this lets you happen is because when you jump, there's actually something called pre-jump frames. So there's a few frames where your character is like trying to get off the floor, like I don't know if I can show it, like kind of like that. You see his feet are still kind of on the ground there. These are called pre-jump frames, and those frames you can cancel into special moves before you officially leave the ground. So a lot of the grapplers who have 360 motions, even if you hit up and he starts to jump, you'll still get the 360 out.
Right. So one way to think of a 360 motion is just do a half circle one way or a half circle the other, and then press up afterward, and you'll be good.
Yeah. One thing to note is that some characters only need to do like 5/8 of a circle.
Right.
Like Zangief can actually just do it at 5/8, but Hugo needs to do it, and not only that, but oh no, it was the meat squasher that he has to end at.
He's a little bit bugged. Yeah. Usually you can start and end a 360 at any direction, but Hugo's is a little bit screwed up.
Right.
And requires that you end at up.
Okay.
Okay. So let's talk about ultras and then take a break.
Sure. So let me go to the character select here.
Sure.
Every character has 2 ultras, and this is actually a new feature to Ultra Street Fighter 4 now. You can see I have 2 ultras here, which is Ultra 1 and Ultra 2. But then there's this W thing here that says Ultra Combo Double.
Right.
So basically what happens is that for the longest portion of Street Fighter 4's life cycle, you could only pick between Ultra 1 and Ultra 2. This is largely dependent on the matchup, or maybe one of the ultras just sucked and there was no point in using it. Right. So you just pick one or the other, and you just have to gain some experience to know which one is better. What they added in Ultra Street Fighter 4 was the ability to have both ultras with you at the same time. The reason why this was never allowed before is because it's actually a little too good, because on some matchups, having both of them and they do 2 completely different things can cover so many situations. For example, let me go and pick Adon here. Adon, if you look at him, Jaguar Revolver is an excellent anti-projectile ultra. You can punish Ryu's Fireball from almost a full screen away with this ultra. So if you're fighting against Ryu and you pick this ultra, he's scared to throw fireballs now. It's really good. But unfortunately, that means you have to sacrifice the Ultra 2, which is good for close quarter combos. So there's a very common thing called uppercut FADCs that do allow you to combo into ultras and get big damage. So if Adon had access to both of these, like, I don't think Ryu would ever win the fight ever again, because he would be able to punish fireballs. He'd be scared to throw fireballs, and you get right up next to him, and then you catch him with an uppercut, and you get the option. So normally, you want to pick one or the other.
Well, now you can do that. Now you can pick both. The way that they balance this out is that if you pick Ultra Combo Double, each Ultra will do less damage.
Yes.
And you can only do one at a time. So you have an Ultra meter. Let's get into it, and put me on some charge character.
Okay, let's make you Guile.
Sure.
Most common.
And put me on, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you can only do one ultra when you have a full rage meter or ultra, when you have rage meter or ultra ready, which means that you can't do one and then immediately the other, right? So do yours. Just do one, and you'll see the ultra go away. Well, I guess you won't because it's on full.
Oh yeah, let me change that actually. Revenge gauge. Let's just do max start, restart. Let me make sure I set up the memory. And guys, if you pick up this game, memory is your friend. Like, as soon as you start training mode, go load the memory, because this is a save state. I can just bring it back no matter where we are. Even if I use all my meter and it's all gone, for example, when I restart, it goes back to exactly the state it was. Super useful. This is brand new to Ultra. I use it a lot because that's all I do. So
all right, do an Ultra. You see it goes away. So you build that up. Don't restart. Let me beat you up a little bit. You build that by getting hit. You see it goes up right there, right?
Yep.
It's different for the super meter. You build super meter. Use your super. Just do it.
Yep.
So you do build super by getting hit.
Yeah, but
see.
not
very much at all. But you build it also by doing attacks.
Doing special moves builds it, and then if you hit people with stuff,
or if you make them block,
or if you make them block,
or if you block.
As long as your move connects against the opponent, or your opponent's moves connect against you, you're gaining.
You build
stuff.
A little bit,
yeah.
and again, you build more if you hit the opponent or if you make the opponent block.
And Ultra Meter actually is exactly, so you can see how it fills up. Ultra Meter is exactly 90% of your health. So if you have 1,000 hit points, if you take 900 damage, you'll have a full Ultra Meter at that point in time.
Right.
The one thing to note, though, is that, we'll get into focus.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about focus in a little bit. We picked Guile just because he's a charge character. So what I'm doing now is holding down, then to do his flash kick, I press up plus kick. And same for Sonic Boom. You walk backwards, forward, plus punch is Sonic Boom. A way to do it without having to walk backwards is that you can hold down back, and you'll have access to both the back charge and the toward charge. So, or that is to say, the back charge and the down charge. So from this crouching position, down back position, I can do forward and then get a punch and do Sonic Boom, or I can press up and kick, and I'll get flash kick. So that's something to keep in mind.
So you have access to both moves at the same time. And anytime you let go of those positions, you lose your charge.
Exactly.
You have to start all over
So
again.
if I'm Guile and I walk forward, well, I got to charge again.
Yep.
Right. So that's a major part of those characters' gameplay. Then for his Ultra and Super, it's similar kinds of motions, but kind of doubled up. So for Sonic Boom, remember it's back, forward, punch. For his Ultra 2, it's back, forward, plus punches. Right.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So those are the ultras there, and again, you normally when a round begins, you'll see that the way that it works is that normal here and super combo gauge. Whenever you start a round, normally you start with no meter at all and no ultra. You start completely weaponless. And you build them up during the course of the match. So honestly, super meter is something very, very much you have to keep in mind and learn how to use the resources wisely. They can either be used for really good damage when you get in close for combos. They can have a lot of utility, like some of them can go through fireballs. So for example, Adon's Jaguar Kick, if I use the EX one, I can go through fireballs and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different utilities. So one of the cool things about the super meter, probably my favorite thing about it, is the meter management that you hear people talk about. So,
okay, you want to take a break?
Sure.
Talk about combos, talk about focus in a little bit?
Yep, okay.
Okay, we'll be back in just a little bit. The basics, fellas. Well, it's because it's a new game, sort of. It's a re-release anyway, and an update to existing Street Fighter 4 series. And we know not everybody plays Street Fighter 4. A lot of people in the fighting game community play Street Fighter 4, but there are people who don't. And this is for people who are in the fighting game community who want to try it out, or for people who have never played a fighting game and want to try it out. Either way, that's why we're trying to do as many basics as we can right at the start.
And another thing too is, I mean, as this is getting bigger, I mean, we just had MLG this last weekend, so a lot of new people getting into fighting games. Evo is getting bigger every year,
Right.
so you know, just have a nice little video, get this on YouTube, have a lot of people have a resource so that they can learn about the game. So.
Exactly right. Okay, so we talked a little bit about normals, we talked about specials, we talked about ultras, we talked about the various ways to attack. We didn't mention grabs, really. We talked about command grabs, but we didn't talk about normal grabs. So this is done by pressing jab plus short, aka light punch plus light kick. You can see the range is not great. But it's a huge part of a lot of characters' offense, and it works. So you're blocking, right? I can't hit you. Remember, I can chip with a special move, but I can't actually hit. I can just grab. Grab will blow right through people trying to block.
Yeah, a really good way to think of.
Oh, dude, turn on the thing.
Oh shoot! Sorry about that, guys. Okay. All right, let's see.
So I was talking about grabs before we did that.
Yeah.
I'm just showing the fact that if you're blocking, you're still going to get thrown. So you're blocking.
Throw.
There you go.
And of course, we didn't really talk about blocking, but to block is just hold the controller away from the opponent, back, and down back. Those are the two different ways that you can actually block. And the reason why you have two different ones is because there are moves that hit low, and then there are moves that hit, mid is how it's
overhead.
described. Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of moves just hit like not overhead.
Oh,
or
neither.
anything.
Okay, yeah. So
yeah.
in Street Fighter, there are three ways that this is described. Different games have different descriptions for it. In Street Fighter, it's called low attacks, then kind of mid attacks, which you can block whether you're crouching or standing. Do standing. It doesn't matter. Whereas low attacks have to be blocked low. Right? So you're standing up, you're not going to hit it, you're not going to block. Crouching, you're going to block them. But then there are overheads also. Sometimes these are called high attacks in Street Fighter. We try to just call them overheads. So Guile has one, you can see. Can't block it if you're crouching.
Adon has one as well. Oh, yeah.
And you can block it.
Yeah, Adon has one as well, so if he low blocks, I can hit him. Not every character has easy access to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, some characters don't have any overheads at all. But most of them have at least one somewhere, whether it's in the form of a normal move or a special move. So throws are really good because if you just block forever, obviously it's super good. And like, how are you gonna break? Like, if I have a huge life lead, what is he gonna do to me, right?
Oh no, nothing. I can't hit you.
Yeah. So basically, what happens is that you have to consider throws as the counter to blocking.
Right.
Everything in Street Fighter has a counter, and the counter to blocking is throwing. And so don't try to use throws just because you're like, I want to throw them. Like, throw them because you know you've got them scared and they're blocking. So, yeah,
there's another usage for the term high in this game. It means an attack that whiffs over people crouching. So crouch, Guile has one of those. This is down toward a roundhouse, and it whiffs over most people when they crouch. So this can also be called a high attack, but usually in Street Fighter, high attacks mean overhead.
Yeah. And then plus the other thing too that's really important to remember is one of the things that makes jumping attacks really useful is that people cannot crouch block jump attacks.
So these are overheads too.
Yeah.
Just not usually called that. Usually called jump attacks.
Yeah, they're just jumps. So with these, when someone jumps at you, you gotta stand up and block, right? So for example, why this comes into play, for example, if Guile throws a sonic boom and I jump over, the only way for him to flash kick is to charge down, right? So if I make it over and I keep jumping at him and he keeps standing and blocking, then he can't charge for a flash kick anymore, which is good anti-air. You know, there's all sorts of different ways to take advantage of jumping. So
another thing that jumping can get you is a cross-up.
Boom. Oops. Like so.
Right, so I have to block that the opposite way.
Yeah, because technically I'm switching sides. And because I switch sides, you have to switch. Blocking is always holding away. And so at this point, technically holding, so if he's holding right on the controller right now, that's holding away.
Right.
But when I jump over him, now holding right is holding towards me.
Which means I'm going to get hit.
Yeah, so now he'll just walk right into the jump attack. So you have to switch up. And so you just have to know when your opponent jumps over you if they have a cross up and to make sure that you block it the correct direction.
Just to finish with the various kinds of throws and attacks. Some characters have air throws. It's pretty rare. Only a few do. Guile's one of them. So he has this, you can see, he has an air throw. This will only throw you if you're in the air. Not if you're on the ground. So just stand there. I'm going to try to throw you. It will not work. Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually pretty rare to have an air
rare.
throw. There's only like maybe 5 or 6 characters that have that.
Yeah. So let's talk about combos more generally.
Okay. So a combo. So if watch Guile for a second. If I hit him with a move, notice how he had, like hold up on the controller. Well, after I hit you.
Oh, okay.
See how it takes a little bit before he can jump? That's because when you hit somebody with a move, they get put into what's called hit stun. And so while they're in hit stun, they can't do anything. They're just reeling from the attack. They're being hit. If you can actually chain or connect a move while they're in the middle of hit stun, they can't do anything about it. So they're going to get hit by the second move too. So if I hit him with a jump attack, he goes into hit stun for a while. Like boom, like that. So if I can do another move fast enough before he gets out of hit stun, I get what's known as a combo.
So in Street Fighter and in most fighting games, a combo is something where if you get hit by the first attack, you can't avoid getting hit by the second attack.
So, I mean, and combos are pretty much the heart and soul of this game, and almost any fighting game, really, I would say, because it's how to maximize damage and all sorts of other cool things like particular setups and such.
So there are 2 basic ways to get combos. One is to cancel an attack. Check out my little crouching jab here, right? You can see it has recovery, right? After I hit him, I pull my hand back. But if I cancel that into a flash kick, you'll see the animation get cut short and I'll go right into the flash kick. See again?
Yep.
So, nothing. But there's the cancel.
Right.
And you can do that with some buttons. So some jabs and shorts and light punches and light kicks have the ability to cancel into themselves. This is called chaining. Guile's crouching short can do that too. Stand short can do it.
Yeah, for example, Adon doesn't have any chains.
Right.
He actually. Oh, okay. Stand jab.
So stand jab. Far stand
stand jab.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's some different buttons that can also chain for what are called chains or target combos. Guile has one of those. It's down medium kick towards strong.
There you go.
And it's
It's not it is a combo.
Yeah,
okay,
it's a combo. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's just where you cancel a crouching medium kick. You can see crouching medium kick. There's a recovery on it. That's what it looks like. But if you cancel it into toward medium punch, then you can see it just cut itself short.
Now, the thing about this game is that characters who have these chain combos are very specific. If you come from Marvel, if you come from Blaze Blue or any of these games, most characters can just chain by hitting a sequence of buttons in certain orders and stuff like that. It's not the case here. So, for example, Adon, no chain combos.
Right.
So there's no way I can do what Guile just did. I'm pretty much one hit is one hit.
You don't have that, but there's another way you can combo instead.
Right. So again, we talked about the hit stun, and you can see them kind of reeling afterwards. Well, the interesting thing about this game is that a lot of your moves, when you hit somebody, their hit stun lasts longer than your move. So you're actually free to move again before they finish reeling.
Right, so hit me with the crouching jab and then we'll both hold up. You see, you can jump before I can.
Right, exactly.
Which means that you have less recovery than I have.
Mm-hmm. And so as a result, some moves are actually fast enough, they start up fast enough that while he's in the hit stun, I can throw out another move and hit him before his hit stun finishes.
That's called linking.
Yeah.
It's a link combo.
Can you do low strong, low forward?
I don't know.
I guess not. Okay.
So that's the 2 major ways you can do it, and then you can put them kind of in concert. So Adon has combos that involve links, crouching jab to crouching strong, but then that crouching strong can cancel into dragon punch. Right there. So let's put them together.
Boom.
Yeah. So that's a couple of links, and then that's a couple of links and then a cancel.
Yeah. So it's jab, link into jab, and then link into low strong, and then canceled into uppercut.
Yeah. Important to note that you cannot cancel. This is so stupid. You can't cancel into a special move a move that has been canceled into a normal.
Oh, you're talking about like the chain combo, right?
Right.
It's only specifically the light attack.
Exactly. So if I'm chaining this crouching jab, right, I can't then do my flash kick. It's just not the way it works. Instead, I have to make sure that the last normal attack I use before canceling into the special move is linked from the previous crouching jab.
Again, this is only applies to the light attacks that you can chain into itself.
Right.
There are the characters with target combos that you can cancel into.
Right. So this is a specific thing, but it's an important thing to learn, and I know it's kind of confusing sounding, but just make sure that whenever you want to cancel into something like flash kick or dragon punch for Adon, that whatever the last button you use is before you cancel into that special move, make sure that it was linked into rather than canceled into.
Yeah. Okay.
So, okay.
All right.
We want to talk about focuses now?
Yep. And so most of the Street Fighter games have a little extra feature in the game. Like the Street Fighter 3 series had the parries. You know, Alpha counters had... Street Fighter Alpha had like alpha counters and custom combos and stuff like that. The one mechanic that's very unique to Street Fighter 4 alongside the Ultras is the focus attack.
Right.
So we said throw is hitting the two light buttons, the two weak buttons together. If you hit the two medium buttons at the same time, they do something called a focus attack. Now, if I just tap it and let go, you see that I just do this attack like this, right? But the whole point of it is that when I hit the two buttons, I can hold the buttons. I can hold the buttons, and he starts to charge up. And you see him flash white, right? That's because there's actually 3 different levels of the focus attack. And each flash is an indication that you've gone to the next level. Level 2, level 3.
I never knew there were white flashes.
What?
Yeah. I've never seen that before.
You've never seen the white... Holy crap!
I just grew to understand the timing for it. Wow, that's actually really useful. Thanks, James. 5 years later.
For most people, they've noticed that the white flash is the indication that they've jumped to the next level.
That's so easy. Okay, so anyway, there are 3 levels, right?
Yes.
So if you just tap it, here's level 1. Doesn't hit. It doesn't do anything fancy on hit. Doesn't do anything fancy on block either.
And in fact, I can probably punish you because it just takes so long to recover.
Right. So block also.
Yeah.
Doesn't do anything. Here's level 2. So on hit, you see it sends him into this crumple animation.
Right.
But now block, nothing.
Yeah.
It's just a blocked attack. Now here's level 3. So get hit.
Well, there's nothing I can do.
Right. So this is unblockable. I was going to show hit and then block, but either way you're going to get hit because it's not.
Yes.
It's not a blockable attack.
Level 3 focus is completely unblockable. So basically, if you walk up to someone and they're not doing anything, you can hit them for free.
Exactly.
So most of the time, people just try to escape it when they see it happening.
Invincible backdash or jumping or whatever.
Now, one of the key factors of focus is during the entire time I'm charging. If you notice, when it flashes the second time, that just means your attack is going to come out. You can't charge beyond that. As soon as it reaches to the level 3, it automatically springs even if you keep holding the buttons. But during that entire time I'm holding up, I have what's called armor. So basically, I can absorb one attack from the enemy. So if David tries to punch me, well, hit me with like a fierce or something like that.
Okay.
Like that. You see how I absorb it? So watch, I'll do it one more time. Boom. So I absorb it right there, right? And then that way, my attack will come out and then I can punish him after absorbing it.
You can see him taking what's called white life up there. That's life that you can recover. And in training mode, everything recovers, but that white life will be recovered in normal matches too, unless you then get hit again before the white life has fully recovered.
Right. So do a focus and backdash. Yeah. So, oh god, that's so fast.
Yeah, it comes back. I don't think there's anything you can do.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. So basically, one of the things is, like, let's say Guile is sitting back there and using that low forward kick a lot, right? So he's doing crouch medium kick a lot, and I'm having trouble getting in, and I don't know what to do. Well, I can actually try to use a focus to get in like that. So I'll absorb one hit of it and then attack, and then we'll talk about dash canceling that in just a little bit. That allows you to get closer.
Okay.
Of course, the problem with armor is you can only absorb one hit. Oops.
Okay. Crepes.
Okay, who's doing the focus?
You're going to do the focus attack.
See, there it is. So 2 light kicks, and then he was able to just knock me right out of it. So you can only absorb 1 hit total. Now,
there are also attacks that will just break focus regularly. So there are 2 ways to break focus. One is by getting hit twice or more. Another is what are called focus breakers. And you can hear the little glass. Yes, I knew about the glass. You can hear the glass breaking.
Here. Yeah, there it is. So,
and you can see the little shards kind of come off.
Yeah.
Which I knew about also. and those are called focus breakers. So almost every character has a focus breaker. I think there's only one that doesn't, and it's Zangief.
Yeah.
Everybody else has one. So for Adon, do yours.
Oh, sorry.
Do your focus breaker.
Right.
So there's your focus breaker. So everybody has one except for Zangief.
And some characters have 2, right? So do the focus again. That's the focus breaker as well, right? So you can't focus that. And a lot of times they did that as a protection because there's a lot of moves that if they were focusable, they'd be completely useless.
Right.
So they gave armor breaker to a lot of those moves to make sure that they weren't useless.
Exactly.
One thing to note though is that for level 1 and level 2, as soon as you let go of the focus, you lose your armor. So as soon as I let go, David can just like punch me, right? Like just like punch me right when I let go.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Well. There. So as soon as I let go, I lose the armor. The only time that's not true is if I do the full level 3, I will actually absorb during the kick.
Yeah.
And then I can still keep going after that. But you can still only absorb one thing. It'll still lose the armor breakers.
Okay. Okay.
The other thing important to note about focus attacks is while you're charging, you can cancel this into a dash.
Either way.
Either direction.
And at any time before the second white flash, as James said. So you see the second one comes out, no more dashing. On hit, though, you can dash regardless. So or on block, I should say. If it touches the opponent, then you can dash. So here's level 1, and I dash. Level 1, and I dash. Here's level 2, and I dash. Level 2, and I dash. Even level 3, though.
Yep. And that's how most of the time you can get a lot of good offense going, because how we talked about forward dash is really good. So for example, I can absorb this and then dash in like that.
Right.
See, I got in there and now I can start beginning some offense. So even though I did a level 1 and he didn't crumple, but now I'm in his face and I get to attack and stuff like that.
You can also dash cancel before it touches you. Or before your focus touches the opponent.
Oh, right.
Or let's say hits the opponent.
So if you absorb a hit and dash forward, you mean? Like
yeah,
that?
Exactly.
Right,
you just absorb and dash.
Yeah. One of the things that makes... This is probably the hardest part of this game besides the links, because some of the links that we showed earlier, like low jab into low strong, that's actually a pretty decently easy link in all things. But there are some links that are super hard to do that require very precise timing. Right. The other thing that's really hard in this game is that what you find out is that there's such a thing as a regular focus attack, and there's such a thing as the EX focus attack. So let me make sure I'm on max start here. Did I save a spot? No. Let's just do that then. So there's such a thing called EX focus attack. And the difference between a regular focus attack and an EX focus attack is the EX focus attack is only when you cancel into it.
Right.
So, for example, remember how we showed before I could do crouching medium punch into uppercut, like this, right? I can also cancel crouching strong into a focus attack. But you notice something, I just lost 2 bars.
Right.
So every time you perform an EX focus, like that, it costs 2 bars. So that's the difference between a regular and an EX. EX costs 2 bars. The other difference is that EX focus has no armor at all. So if I do this... Well, just like hit me with, no armor. I cannot absorb. So anytime you do an EX focus, you lose all ability to absorb attacks.
Right.
But the tricky thing about focus attacks, though, is, we talked about, for example, how you can cancel, like, normals into specials, like this, right? Specials can't be canceled into normals. Right. Right? Once you do a special, that's it. However, specials can be canceled into EX focus, right?
I guess we didn't say this, but specials can also be canceled into supers. But
Right. Yeah. So some specials, for example, I can cancel into into a super, although this is completely
that's useless, but
yeah.
it is useful for some characters.
Right. So, but you can also cancel into a focus attack. Now, of course, you know, the question is why the heck would I want to do this, right? But some characters you can actually uppercut, cancel into the focus, and then dash. And you can see how he's still in the air, and I just happen to have an ultra fast enough that I can juggle off of that and get big damage.
Right, so what this is technically called is Dragon Punch EX Focus Attack Dash, then Ultra.
Yeah.
Okay, but what we call it instead is Focus Attack Dash Cancel. So if you ever see the little acronym FADC spelled out, that's what this is talking about. It's canceling an attack into a dash and then doing something afterward.
I mean, you can do that on any cancel
button.
Moves like this, right?
Yeah.
I can even cancel the backdash if
want.
I wanted to, right? And yeah, charge characters can do it as well. Definitely takes a lot more effort to do.
Yeah, I'm not going to bother showing you with Guile. It is pretty hard, but it's doable.
And so that's one of the really powerful things about this. So this can either be used for combos. So I can use this as a combo like this. Oops, I don't know why that didn't hit.
Does it have to be EX?
It has to be medium? What the heck?
Oh, really?
That's not how it was before.
Really?
Did they change that? Oh, I'm so confused right now.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, short and forward work, but roundhouse doesn't. Okay, whatever. But in any case, you know, I can go into combos like that, or like block.
Yeah.
Like I can use it defensively too, and FADC backdash to keep myself safe.
Right. So that's
sort of safe.
That's a big thing for Guile. Right. Now, in previous versions of the game, this was huge.
Yeah.
Dragon Punch or Flash Kick or whatever your special attack was, FADC was a giant part of it. You were reasonably safe, both offensively dashing and defensively backdashing. Not so in Ultra Street Fighter 4. In Ultra SF4, lots of characters are now unsafe, your block, when doing this. So, oh, dope. Dope. Here, why don't you do it?
Okay. Here, throw me.
Okay. Well, I'm probably not the best one to do this with, but whatever. Is Adon's not punishable?
No, he's punishable.
Okay.
He's supposed to be punishable. I think we're just too slow for some strange reason. Or we're playing on the wrong version. Dude, that'd be so... No, because we're on W Ultra. Yeah, exactly, so...
Well, whatever.
You try.
Okay,
there it was, right there.
Hey,
it's only minus 5.
Me.
Yeah, it's only minus 5. It's not very easy. In fact, it's still an effective tactic, but if you're wary of it now, you can actually punish it.
Right, but backdashing is also less safe, so I don't know that Adon will be able to punish Guile. Oh my god. Well, I don't know that Adon will be able to punish.
I'm pretty sure I can.
Hey!
Like that.
There you go. You punished it.
Right. So I got him before he recovered. Obviously, you're not going to take as much damage because you're further away, unless certain characters just counter with their own Ultra.
You can probably do Ultra 1 or
Yeah,
something.
I could probably do that, yeah. Oh, didn't quite catch. Not. Okay, maybe
In any
not.
case, it's no longer nearly as safe in either direction. It's unsafe in both directions to do Flash Kick or Dragon Punch, etc. FADC.
Right. So, big part of the game, and unfortunately, that is one of the high-level skill things that you gotta learn, is this weird uppercut, FADC uppercut thing. That's so weird that Roundhouse doesn't connect anymore. That's blowing my mind right now, but I'm just wondering, when did that change?
I don't know.
It might be one of those... Has it been that way for a long time? But in any case, this is a big part of the game at some point, because a lot of times, this is how you're gonna do a lot of comeback damage.
Plus and minus is just talking about how much advantage you have, whether you have more advantage than your opponent in terms of time and hit stun or block stun, or less. So if you have more, then you're plus something. So after I hit Adon with crouching jab from Guile, I'm plus. And I think I'm plus 5, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, so hold up afterwards again. See how Guile jumped before Adon, right?
I jump first.
So that means he's plus, because he gets to move first, right?
So I have enough frame advantage. I have enough plus frames to do another crouching jab, or a crouching strong if I want.
However, if I hit him with something like Far Fierce, like hold up after that.
Okay.
Oh, I'm actually plus on that? Holy crap. All right, let me try this one. We're about even
You're 8
on that
on.
one. Block,
Yeah.
block, actually.
Okay.
So block, so if I do something like this. You see how Guile jumped first that time?
Right.
So this basically means I'm minus.
Right.
I recover later than Guile does. There's this really, I mean, it's probably really important to note that this is true in every fighting game. There's this whole concept of being in neutral and then being committed to something. You know, as long as I'm walking around, I'm in neutral because I can do whatever I want. But if I do moves, I'm stuck in the move, you know, so that's why this whole plus-minus thing is so important, because if he blocks my standing roundhouse, for example, and then he can move first, that means he has a slight advantage. Like, if we do 2 moves at the same time that have the same startup, his is going to win because he's plus.
If you're significantly minus, then you can get punished for doing something. So maybe do a sweep?
I don't think 8-ons is punishable. This might be?
Nah, that's for sure not.
Okay. Okay,
Hey,
that is
okay.
punishable, yeah.
So he's minus enough, he has enough disadvantage that he can't do anything before I hit him with this flash kick. He can't even block.
Right. So I'm blocking, and I can't do anything about that.
Right. So that's what plus and minus is about. Anything else about? Well, I guess we talk about red focus. It's one of the new additions here.
So one of the brand new additions to this game is called the red focus. So we talked about regular focus and EX focus already, right? So regular focus, here's this crumple, and then EX focus, you know, no armor, etc., etc. Well, they added this new thing called red focus, which when we said doing a regular focus is the 2 medium buttons, right? So strong and forward, aka medium punch and medium kick. To do a red focus, you just do a focus but add light punch to that. So you're hitting 3 buttons at the same time, and you come out and you see yourself flash red now.
There's a weird little noise associated with it too.
Oh yeah, let me see if they can hear that. Yeah, there's that. Such a weird noise.
It is a weird noise. I can't even hear it right now, but I know it's a weird noise.
Dude, that's cool. I didn't know that you could reset the state too.
I didn't know that either.
That's cool. Okay.
So, you know, in most respects, this is the same. You know, you can see that it costs meter down there. It costs 2 bars, even without being EX. Just red focus by itself costs 2 bars. But as far as regular red focus, it has most of the same properties. You can see on hit, it looks the same. Level 2 hit, it looks the same.
For the most part.
Level 3 hit, it crumples also. What the big difference as far as regular red focus goes is that I can absorb more than 1 hit. So I can absorb however many hits the opponent has, as long as it's not an armor breaker. We called them focus breakers before, but they're also armor breakers in general.
So wait, go back and start it after I super.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. Right.
See, he just absorbed all those hits like that.
Exactly.
So. And one thing we should probably note is that if you look, let me do the revenge gauge. So we said you build up the revenge gauge when you take damage. When you actually focus an attack, you actually build up revenge gauge as well, like as if you got hit by that move.
Right. So instead of taking damage, you take white life damage, and you get more revenge meter than you otherwise would.
Throw sonic booms at me?
Sure.
So, like, from a screen away, I can absorb sonic booms like this just to build up my ultra meter.
I mean, remember, you get rage meter for getting hit as well, right? As you can see, you get hit.
Right. And then, pow, I still gain it.
Right.
But I can gain it this way, too. So now
and you can get the white life back.
Right. So that means if you do this enough times, you have a more damaging ultra without having to necessarily drop to 90% of your, to 10% of your life.
You can build your revenge meter without actually losing overall life.
Now, EX red focus is also...
Well, let's talk about red focus and how much ultra meter it builds.
Ooh, okay, because it gains how much extra?
I don't remember how much extra, but a bit. So do your ultra.
Oops. Right.
So, okay.
So do Sonic Hurricane.
Okay.
Did I get it in time? No, I did not.
Well, now you're going to have to do your thing.
Yeah.
Let me just do...
Okay.
I'm just going to do a bunch of jabs, alright?
But you see, like, I gained about a fourth,
Huh?
right? That's a lot for just 4 jabs. So, like, hit me with a stand fierce. Well, after I red focus.
Okay.
Do you see how much that gained?
That
Oh my god, that was
huh?
a lot. So let's do that again. So look at that. Look how much I gained, right?
Well,
let's do that again with regular focus.
Regular focus.
Yeah, and you can see the difference. Okay, ready?
Yeah. Yeah, way more.
Dude, that's a lot more.
It is. It is.
Holy crap, that's a way more.
For sure.
Okay.
So that's regular red focus, and the uses for that. It builds more rage meter, and it gets through lots of attack, or as many attacks as your opponent has before the actual hit comes out, as long as none of them are armor or focus breakers.
Right. Now, one thing that we should point out as well is that, you know, it sounds like it's really good because I can absorb as many hits as possible.
Right.
Remember, it costs 2 bars, and so
It's expensive.
you can dash cancel it like this, so you can fish for things. Oh, he didn't do anything. But then if you backdash, you just lost 2 meters for nothing.
Right.
So you actually don't see this used a lot
It's a big bet.
in matches.
At least not yet. Remember, the game is pretty early.
Like, someone was actually talking to me, like, a great strategy against Bison. Like, if he does scissor kick, a lot of Bisons like to do low, short, scissor kick follow-up.
Right.
So if you block a scissor kick, red focus. And
Right.
then you do low, short, scissor kick, and then nothing in there is an armor breaker, and then you can kill him afterwards, right?
But for now, the bigger use of red focus is EX red focus.
Right. So, remember we talked about regular EX focus is when you cancel a move into a focus, right? EX red focus, if you cancel into it, you'll notice one thing is that it costs 3 bars.
Right.
So it actually takes a lot of your meter. It's the second most expensive thing that you have in here. But the big difference about this is we talked about regular focus, how at level 1 focus, you know, it just hits them and then you just dash away. But level 2, they crumple. Mm-hmm. Or if I hit them with level 3, they crumple like this and you get free combos off of them. And, I mean, they reel there forever, so you get, like, you can get beefy stuff on them.
And, you know, it's weird, but as the opponent crumples, they go from a grounded state where you can hit them with stuff and they stay grounded because they're on the ground. But if you wait, they start to go into the air for whatever reason, and they get air reset.
Yeah. But the nice thing about red EX red focus is that it's, no matter what, at level 1, will crumple. Boom. See, there you go. So if I just do this into regular EX focus, boom, no crumple.
Right.
But if I do this into level 3, I'm sorry, into an EX red focus, costs 3 bars and I get the crumple.
Now, it only combos, for the most part, from fierces and roundhouses or from certain special moves. But you can do that from anything. So here's a strong into EX red focus. That didn't combo, but still...
Do it again.
Yep. Right, it didn't combo. But still, that red focus itself crumples.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying, yeah.
So even though it's not a combo, it still crumples. But, you know, you want to make sure that you combo into it. That's the point of this. It's a huge combo tool. So for Guile, I can do Fierce, cancel into it. You see, that was a combo.
Right.
Adon can do the same thing.
Yeah, from really far.
From really far. So this opens up big combo opportunities for a lot of characters. Adon at that crouching Fierce range, look at that crouching Fierce range. It's pretty big. Pretty big range. At maximum range there, he can combo into red focus.
That's so good.
So, yeah, he gets bigger damage combos than he otherwise would. Now, you could have done Super before, but Super costs an extra bar. And
it's not hit confirmable.
It's not hit confirmable. It's just
so
not
even if he blocked this, I could have back dashed or something to escape. But, you know, oh, dude, this is so good.
It is really good.
So watch, just like crouch and hit like crouch strong like you were doing earlier, right? So like, boom, I get this combo on him now.
Right.
So, or even more powerful, I can do like, oops.
Well, you don't, yeah.
Woo! Directly into Ultra. Yeah, so I can get big damage this way. Of course, I'm using W Ultra, so it doesn't look like big damage.
Right.
If I only had Ultra 2,
but it's more.
Probably would have did 400 and something like that.
Yeah, it's more. Another thing to note about red focus is that it does 50% more damage than regular focus. So do regular level 3 focus. Check out the damage. 140. Now do red.
Boom.
210. So it's more damaging. Which means that, you know, in some situations you might want to put it at the start of combo punishes. Maybe not. Just depends on the character.
guess it's the same block stun.
Yeah, same block stun. Yeah,
okay.
I tested that myself.
Okay, cool. Yeah, actually, you know what I just found out recently was that, so stand up and just take this hit.
Sure.
Remember how, like, so on level 1 focus and then hit and forward dash, you're actually the same plus minus whether you get hit or block. I did not know that. So, in other words, if Adon is -2 when you block, he's also -2 when you get hit.
Right,
Interestingly enough, so.
I guess we didn't mention it, but with regular red focus, well, I guess also with red focus, so block. Mm-hmm. So if I dash up after level 1 focus, I'm not safe. Mm-hmm. So like, just hit me. I'm sure you can. Yeah. But with level 2, you can't, because it causes more hit or block stun. It causes more block stun.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, so that's basically the focus attacks. Again, right now we're not seeing a lot of red focus attacks. We're not seeing a lot of just pure red focuses because people are getting used to it still.
Right.
But give this game some time. It's gonna go crazy eventually. I'm assuming.
I've been using red focus against Jury quite a bit lately. I've been playing against the Jury a lot. And when she wants to do her spin, if I expect it, I go like this.
Gotcha.
And again, it's a big bet to spend 2 meters like that, but sometimes it pays off big.
Yep.
Okay. Break time?
Yeah, I mean, is there any other game system mechanics?
Yeah, let's talk about counter-hit and talk about wake up, delayed wake up, and quick get up.
Okay,
we'll talk about this stuff when we come back.
Okay.